This is Valley View News.
Campus police are criticized for using pepper spray at a UC Davis protest.
You shoot a gun once and you get hooked.
In Moore Park, some amateur history buffs put on a Civil War reenactment. And CSU tuition will increase again for the 9th time in less than 10 years.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Courtney Clavon.
And I'm Lori Bullivin.
2 UC Davis police officers are on administrative leave after pepper spray was used on some protesters. Videos show officers in riot gear as one of them pepper sprayed the nonviolent students who were sitting on the ground. The students were protesting high tuition costs. UC President Mark Yudof said he was appalled by the incident. He's called for an urgent review of police procedures at all 10 UC campuses.
California State University trustees approved a tuition increase. The 9% jump was approved in a closed-door meeting. Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom objected to the closed session and asked administrators to reschedule. Trustees closed the meeting after student protesters disrupted it. A CSU spokesman says there are no plans to reschedule or reconsider the vote.
CSU tuition has risen every year for the past 9 years. Michael Johnson has more on the story from the newsroom.
University officials say the proposed tuition increase for 2012-2013 is necessary because of continuing cuts in the state funding. But some students say they are disappointed with the change.
California State University trustees raised tuition by 9%. The trustees raised tuition for the second time this year, voting 9-6 for the increase. A CSUN student voices her displeasure about the hikes.
The more that they go up, the more students struggle just being in school in general, especially the ones that have to work and go to school.
The tuition hike will take effect next fall and add about $500 to each student's bill.
I've had a couple of friends that have had to drop out due to the prices going up. It's really bad right now.
The price of a year at CSU has risen steadily for years. CSU officials said the increase is necessary because of continued cuts in state funding.
It's been kind of crazy, so I'm feeling like me and myself, I'm putting myself through college, no family help, so it takes more money out of my pocket and my financial aid, so I don't like it at all.
The CSU budget has been slashed by $650 million in recent years. Another $100 million cut is possible.
College students are taking out more loans than ever before. Andre Martinez spoke to students around Cal State Northridge about the ever-increasing amount of debt.
College students and grads now owe over $1 trillion in school loans, according to the Federal Reserve Bank in New York, surpassing credit card debt in the United States. Tuition is one reason students are borrowing more than ever. We asked several CSUN students how much money they'll owe after graduating.
I believe I'm at $33,000.
$20,000 to $25,000.
$100,000. That's a lot of money.
A bleak job market is not helping either, which CSUN student Anthony Garcia has witnessed firsthand.
I work in a special needs company here in Van Nuys, and I'm hiring people with masters, and I can only pay them $8 to $10 an hour.
CSUN financial aid counselor Gregorio Alcantar says there are programs to help struggling graduates in debt.
Graduate repayment plan. By graduate repayment means that you start with low payments in your first years, and then after that switch to higher payments, just to kind of get your footing on going and stuff like that.
It's not getting any easier for CSUN students. The CSU Board of Trustees on Wednesday approved a 9% tuition hike for the fall 2012 semester, which could lead to even more student debt. Andre Martinez, Valley View News.
California voters want to know how public school teachers are performing. The teachers are given evaluations every year, and more than half of the voters surveyed say education would be improved if those results were made public. Voters also want teachers evaluated on how students perform on standardized tests. The LAUSD Teachers Union is against such a plan. It says tests only show part of student learning and provide unreliable feedback.
Chatsworth Hills Academy plans to build a new state-of-the-art facility for K through 8th graders. The school has been operating as a cluster of modular units for more than 30 years. Plans for the new $7 million campus are before the Chatsworth Neighborhood Council, which could okay construction to start as early as next year. The proposed 21,000 square foot campus could open for students in 2013.
And we have a winner. The 2011 Miss San Fernando Valley has been crowned. 22-year-old Pepperdine student J.C. Cisneros won the 3rd annual pageant after 10 beauties competed for the title. It was her clog dancing routine that won over the judges. She is now eligible to compete for Miss California and Miss America. 16-year-old Valeria Vasquez became Miss San Fernando Valley's outstanding teen. Both winners received a $500 prize.
A Palo Alto company says it's developed technology that sharply improves colors on TVs, computers, and smartphones. Nanosys CEO Jason Hartlove says monitors can currently only show about 30% of what the eye can actually see. But his company has created a thin piece of film that goes inside device displays to enhance the image. The technology is impressive enough that leading electronics companies Samsung and LG have invested in the company. Nanosys expects its devices to be available next year.
Congress has decided not to make some controversial changes to school lunches. The Agricultural Department proposed changes that would help lower childhood obesity. Food companies like Coca-Cola say the rules would have raised the cost of meals that children would throw away. Some nutritionists say Congress' decision is a setback in addressing childhood obesity.
A federal agency is using a graphic billboard in a campaign about infant safety. The billboard shows a baby sleeping next to a butcher knife. Underneath the picture is this phrase, "Your baby sleeping with you can be just as dangerous." The point of the ads is that babies should sleep in cribs, not in adult beds. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says hundreds of infants died while sleeping in adult beds. In some cases, sleeping adults accidentally rolled over onto the child. Other infants were caught between the mattress and headboard. Some doctors disagree and advocate babies sleeping in what they call the family bed.
Civil War reenactments happen all over the country and here in California. Many people enjoy them, but others criticize the mock battles, saying they can glorify the Old South and its culture of slavery. Valley View's Kelsey Partapillo reports on one reenactment in Moore Park where people seem to avoid the controversy and have a good time.
Many shots were fired between the Union and the Confederates during this Civil War reenactment. Both men and women participated in what is called the largest reenactment west of the Mississippi. Reenactor Steve Zipper says why he started volunteering.
And I'm with the howitzers, so it's all artillery. So, of course, I want to shoot a gun. So you shoot a gun once and you get hooked.
The shots were so loud it forced some people to cover their ears. Even the horses jumped at the sound of the cannon. Union and Confederate encampments were also set up for people to walk through and talk to the reenactors. These two reenactors chose to remain in character throughout the entire weekend.
I've been fighting in this war for 2 years now. It's 1863, the war started in 1861, so...
As far as the actual conflict against the Yankees, nigh on to only about 1 year, but family history, far more than that, fighting against tyranny and the like of all that.
This is Moore Park's 11th annual reenactment of the original battle that started back in 1861 over slavery. People travel from all over the states to participate in this reenactment. This year marks the 150th anniversary of the Civil War. In Moore Park, I'm Kelsey Partapillo for Valley View News.
Police officers have shut down a new Occupy Oakland encampment. City officials say overnight lodging was not allowed at the camp. Police gave protesters a 20-minute warning to leave, and officers went into the camp after 40 minutes. Campers cut down their tents and gathered their belongings. No arrests or injuries were reported. Mayor Jean Quan says lodging on public property is illegal. She says downtown businesses must be protected from vandalism and public safety remains as the city's first priority.
An Oceanside street in San Pedro has collapsed into the sea after heavy rains last week. City officials and geologists had been monitoring the street before a chunk of the Paseo del Mar crumbled into the ocean. The LA city attorney says no one was injured, but residents are worried and wonder if their homes are at risk of future landslides.
Coming up, people are camping out for Black Friday deals, and the King of Pop, Michael Jackson, has a new album being released soon.